We are so excited, especially me, to have Alysia Lyons joining us here. She's the founder of her own company and an intuitive coach, mom support coach. That's what she does. She's helping you all moms, listen up, to release that mom guilt and increase the peace in our lives. So, first and foremost, thank you for being here doing what you do. And we're excited to have you today. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm great, sweetheart. But as a mom of a 7 and 9-year-old, a little stressed most of the time. So I'm excited for our conversation. And really, first and foremost, how do we contact you, Alicia? Would you mind sharing the website?
Yeah, my website is momsupportcorner.com.
Perfect. And also the one that I'm on it goes right to your name. It's at the same site?
It is the same site. It just redirects.
Perfect. Just making sure, I'm like, because that's the one I looked at before. And by the way, you spell her name Alysia, and Lyons is Lyons. I know you can go right there, get a free chapter of Good Mom Rules, ditch mom guilt, and find your happy. So excited to have you here. And first and foremost, before we talk more about all your offerings, tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what brought you here.
Yeah, so I love to tell people that I took the long road to becoming a coach, but I think we all kind of take the long road to our passion sometimes.
Yep.
But I was born and raised in Fresno, California. I have a beautiful 12-year-old son
Oh,
who my world just revolves around. And I got into coaching completely by accident. I actually was looking for some support in my direct sales business because I had gone through a divorce, and
yeah.
in a matter of probably 6 months, I lost everything that I was proud of. And so I was trying to regain some of like what I had felt before and feeling good about myself. And I was struggling to get back into this leadership position. And so I found a coach who worked directly with women in this company, and I got a one-on-one coach, and I talked about my business like 3 times, maybe over the last 5, 6 years with my coach. It was all personal stuff. It was everything that I was going through. It was all of my limiting beliefs. One of which was this thing that we call mom guilt that I'd
Mm,
been carrying around, feeling like 80 pounds of
mm.
yuck all the time. And once I let that go, I was like,
Wow.
oh, every mom needs this. Every mom needs to know
Absolutely.
about
Well,
it.
oh my goodness. And as a mom, tell me a little bit about your family.
So I am engaged to my fiance of we've been together for 9 years, and my 12-year-old
Oh,
son who, yeah. So it's the three of us. We have 2 dogs, 2 cats, the whole kit and caboodle.
amazing. And just so people know, where are you based out of?
I am out of Fresno, California.
Beautiful, and excited to know that there's people like you helping us out here because we're going to talk about your book, The Mom Guilt, and all these different categories that are going to help us. How do we say increase and decrease our peace, people, emotions, assets, chaos? I'm excited to hear about this. So, and the role, I just got to ask you this about mothers and wives. Could you share a little bit about this? I know it was interesting because I feel the same way. And then we'll talk more about how you got your start. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that, they hand us a baby, and this sack of mom guilt is it feels like it's
Yeah.
instantaneous. And actually I've talked to moms who felt guilty before, like during like right after conception. They found out that they were going to be a mom, and then they started feeling guilty immediately. And it's not really something that serves us, but it's in the water of our culture, number one, and number two, like we just love them, and the guilt comes from like wanting what's best for them.
Mm-hmm.
And we often think that what's best for them is everything going exactly the way that we planned. And I don't know about you, but most plans that I have don't survive collision with another human.
Uh-uh. Uh-uh.
And reality comes along and just kicks us in the teeth. And
Yep.
it's a lot harder, and we're not talking about the difficult of how difficult being a mom is.
Yep.
And so we think that we have this conception that it's going to be super easy, and then it's
Mm-hmm.
not. And then we think we're the only ones because we don't want to tell people that we're struggling.
So true.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you now a little bit about, the mom guilt aspect. Could you break it down for us? Because it's very sneaky, very dangerous, and it can harm us, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like man, I feel so bad when, or
Mm-hmm.
oh, I'm so stupid that I did this, and man, I shouldn't have done that. And it feels
I
heavy.
hear
It
you.
feels icky, right? The way that it showed up for me was I didn't even recognize it until after I had let it go.
Oh,
Um, and
interesting.
and what happened with me, I let it go. I was carrying around some guilt about a situation with my son that didn't I didn't know was a thing. And it was something that could have hurt him. Luckily he's been fine. And but ultimately, uh I was carrying around this guilt, like I should have known better. I should have done something differently. I should have known the future, essentially.
Yeah.
So then once I let it go, I would ask my son one day, what do I do that makes you feel the most loved? And he said, when you snuggle me. And I actually just kind of died in that moment because it was the thing that I was doing the least with him. Because
Mm-hmm.
every time he would come and snuggle me, I'd kind of push him away.
Oh, oh,
Not consciously, it was all
yeah.
unconscious. And it wasn't until I let go of the guilt that I recognized that I was doing that. And so then I was like,
Interesting.
okay, I have new information now. I can snuggle him more, and this is going to create a really strong relationship with him.
Amazing. Well, this is fascinating because as a mom, I could benefit from your help, and I think a lot of us can. Yeah. You're
Yeah.
helping us increase our peace, as you say, right? Because
Yeah.
it is hard. You offer this peace assessment on the website, right? Is that something
Mhm.
you urge everyone to take advantage of before they start working with you?
Absolutely. So it is a one-on-one call. It takes about 30 minutes. And I walk you through what is it called? An acronym for peace,
Peace.
because
Yep.
I discovered that
PEA.
there's 5 things that have the ability really to increase and decrease the peace in our life.
Can you
Um,
share what they are?
absolutely. So
People.
it's the
I
people.
know the
Yeah.
first one. I remember.
The people, it took me a while to remember it too, and I created it. So the people in our life, our emotions, like
Yeah.
how well we manage them, how in control we are of them, how much we express them, our assets, so the things that we are around us at all times, our physical surroundings, and our schedules, so the chaos in our life, how much or how little chaos we have. Like I said, our
Yeah.
schedules don't survive collision with another human. That's something
Mm-hmm.
that I had to like let go of in order
Crazy,
to
right?
have
Mm-hmm.
peace in my life. Like, sometimes people are late, and sometimes, there's going to be a funeral procession on the way on your way home when you're trying to get to an appointment. So real life examples. And then our exhaustion, so um how much we take care of ourselves. So those are the things that have the ability to increase or decrease the peace in our life. And so I'll walk through with you, and
Oh,
on a scale of 1 to 10,
yes.
how would you rate your relationship with the people in your life? 10 is being where you ultimately would love to be. Most people want to be in peace and harmony with their family members, and with the pertinent people in their life. And 1 is as far from where you want to be as possible. And so if you were to rate it, and you were a 5, or do you want to give us an example of where you
Well,
are on a 1 to
I'm
10?
confused. Are we talking about my children or my family members or my friends?
Yeah, so I call it the pertinent people in your life. So the people
Oh,
that you hold as the most important to you, that you interact with on a daily basis.
I'm gonna have to give it a 6.
6. Okay, so then what I would do is I would ask you, why so high? Because you could be a 5,
Okay. Um,
right?
See, I think I could be higher. I feel like my kids, one kid is better than the other in a sense where I get along better with him. Not saying he's better than the other, but there's an issue with one of my kids, the 9-year-old. My
Mm,
family, like my sister, is just probably like lower than that. So I'm trying to average it out. So this is where
yeah.
I get anxiety from doing this.
Mm.
Help! Coach me
Good to
down,
know.
coach me
Yeah.
off a ledge.
Yeah. So, there are, so the average is a 6, and that's great. So so I say, why so high? Because you're
Yeah,
doing things
true.
that are making you a 6, meaning you could be a 3 or a 2 or a 1 with
Okay,
every single person in your life.
true.
So the average is a 6, which means you might be a 9 or a 10 with some people in your life, and that's great. Um, so as a coach, I want you to see what you are doing right,
Okay.
because our brain is wired to see what we're doing wrong.
Isn't that always the case?
And
Horrible.
so if let's say that we did pick the one son that you're struggling with. You have two boys, is they're
Yes.
both you're both
7
boys?
and
Yeah.
9, two boys. Yes.
So if we were to pick the son that you were struggling with more and just isolating him, where would you put yourself on a scale of 1 to 10?
I'd put me as a probably like a 5.
5 with him? Okay, great.
Yeah.
And so then
Yeah.
after we focus on what you're doing right, then I would ask you, what would it take to go from a 5 to a 10? What is something that you could do where you felt like you could increase from a 5, not 5 to a 10, 5 to a 6? How do you get to a 6? Because our brain wants to go to 10, right? But we need to take incremental steps.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be, you know what, to spend more one-on-one time with him without the other one. That's what I need to do, I think.
Good. Yeah. And psychologists actually say that a lot of the behaviors that we see with our kids, the ones that we quote unquote are negative, um, 10 minutes a day of one-on-one time doing something you both enjoy will decrease those behaviors significantly.
Really?
Hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
good to know. Good to
Yeah.
know. All right.
Yeah. You didn't know you were going to get coached today, did you?
No, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Okay, I need to do that. Okay,
Yeah.
be more. Okay, what else do you have for
Yeah.
us? What else should we be
Yeah,
doing?
so that's what I do on a piece assessment. Well,
Okay.
I would go through each of them, PE,
Yeah.
ACE, and we would pick one thing from one category where you could increase, and then we would get it on your calendar. Where could you put those 10 minutes for that time with your son, right? And so that it's calendarable, where somebody on the outside looking in could see that you are doing these 10 minutes a day with him. And then also, how long would you do these 10 minutes in order for you to feel like you've gotten from a 5 to a 6, right? So that
Okay.
I do that with one
Yeah.
category so that you're not overwhelmed. And then if we are aligned and a good fit, then I'll offer a coaching package with you. So we
Okay.
can do anywhere from 3 months, 6 months to a year, and then work on all of the things in each of the 5 buckets. Because one-on-one support, that's where I found the most support in my life, is working one-on-one with a coach. Because I've done
Oh,
group coaching and I've done individual, and there is something totally different from the one-on-one attention where I can say, "Hey, I am struggling with this." And
uh-huh.
a coach comes in and says, "What is it?" and asks you the questions and helps you come up with a game plan.
Wow. Okay, this is fantastic. I need to, I'm writing this down. Okay. I also want to know about your book, and there's so much more to talk about. But again, got to remind everyone how we reach out to you because we're at that point. We need to
Absolutely.
remind people to go to the website to contact you. So, Alicia, remind us again.
Yeah, so my website is momsupportcorner.com, which does redirect to my name, but my name is spelled funny, so
Oh, I'm
Mom Support
sorry.
Corner, people
You know,
know how
it's
to
spelled
spell it.
perfectly for you. And I'm sorry, you probably let people have to ask you like I did today, just the correct pronunciation, but it's all good. It's all good. Okay. So, what else did you want to make sure we share for today? We still have 10 minutes left in the show.
Yeah, so my book is, it's a labor of love. It probably took maybe 6 weeks to write because I just interviewed a lot of moms, And it was after I had let go of my guilt. So when I'm talking to them, they're telling me, "Oh, I just feel so bad that my girlfriend this morning told me she feels bad that she gave her son COVID." And it's like I mean, we had a whole pandemic around COVID because it's highly contagious. It's not your fault that your son has COVID. It's like we just take responsibility for just everything else, for everyone else, and everything's our fault. And that doesn't feel good. And so I wrote my book. It has 14 or 15 different things that were a common theme when I was talking to these moms.
Wait,
And
hold on. Where do we find the book?
yeah. So it's on Amazon. You can also get it on from my website. It's under the books tab. You can get it, go straight there and get it from Amazon. If you want a signed copy, just shoot me an email. And yeah, it's a super short read because moms are busy.
Yeah, no, that's
Um,
great.
yeah, it doesn't have to be consumed cover to cover. You can just look in the inbox or in the index and say, "Hey, I'm feeling bad that my kid is a picky eater," and go straight to that tab.
Oh my goodness. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing this. I'm excited to hear more about the book, your journey, and even some of the mom stories. I would love to hear some testimonials about the people that you've helped and how the coaching has benefited them. It saved us. I'm
Saved us.
sure you
Yeah,
saved a lot.
yeah, the things that we feel guilty about,
Hmm.
it's so numerous. A big one that comes to mind is I had a client that was going from being a stay-at-home mom to working 3 days a week, and every single mom in her circle was a stay-at-home mom, and so she was feeling bad that she had to go to work because it was a financial thing. And what we came up with was that's the thing about guilt, is that it is individual to you, and that's what I walk you through in the book as well, is like your guilt and your relief from the guilt is
Hmm.
individual to you. There's some overarching that
Of
can
course.
apply to everybody, but it can be individual to
Good.
you. And for her overcoming it was that she was providing other needs for her child while someone else was providing the other needs. So she was providing the financial so they could have food and a roof over their head
Yeah.
and electricity while someone else was playing with her child and making sure that he was taken care of during the day.
Wow. Ah,
Yeah.
that's something we battle as parents. I know. I know. I'm a single mom, and there's a lot of single parents out there too. And that's the hardest
Yeah.
thing to battle the work, to battle the love, the care, and all the above. It's not always easy.
Yeah. Yep.
Well,
Single mom status. I still claim single mom status because I'm technically not married yet.
oh yeah, I've
But
never
my
been
my
married, so yeah.
fiance's,
But he's
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
oh, well, that's wonderful. I
yeah,
mean, you have done so much and you're helping so many people and with this guilt and that we have. And it's possible to put it behind us. And it's amazing how just by I was reading your testimonials before about this person in particular. Let me pull it back up because I was checking some of them out before. Hold on. There was that, okay, Chrissy B said that you helped her with the fear of speaking her truth. I didn't understand why I was so scared to say how I felt in a situation. As a result, over time, I began to shut down. And they said you were kind, compassionate, and your technique helped to locate in her body where she was feeling a block, which was in the throat. And you gently took me through a process that revealed the why and released it. Angela says you not only are an amazing person, you're an amazing coach. You have a passion not only for helping people, but understanding them on a deep level. And again, your specialty is helping those moms overcome that guilt. And
Mhm.
you also have this amazing ability to help anyone. So this is fantastic. Fantastic. And can I also say something about someone else who had some past self-inflicted guilt issues about how they parented their kids while in active addiction to drugs and alcohol? You helped Nicole R with that. So that's
Yeah,
amazing. I don't know if
yeah.
you want
Her
to
daughter
elaborate
was
on
a
any of them.
Yeah. her daughter was an adult, and she was feeling she while she was parenting her daughter, she ended up losing her custody
Mm-hmm.
because if I recall correctly, I think she went to jail. And then she had another child who's, I believe he's 9 now. So she's retained custody, but she was still feeling guilty with her daughter. And then that daughter wasn't always treating her, her younger son very nice, but she was feeling guilty that she had not been the
Yeah.
mom to the daughter, and now she's being a mom to the son. But so she was having this conflict, and so now she's able to advocate for her son and still have this relationship with her daughter. And I mean, these are the things that we deal with
Yeah.
as moms, and these are some are more extreme cases, but sometimes the thing that we deal with is just, hey, I got divorced. And I'm solo parenting now, and but like I never wanted to get divorced. I mean, that's part of my story is I didn't want to get divorced. I didn't want my son to have, two households. And here we are, but he's the better for it because he has more people who love him now than he would have had if it was just the two of us.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing this. Now, also, what else in particular did you want to share with your listeners and viewers today about your book, your work? We have just 4 minutes left in the show.
The thing that I want everybody to take home with them today is that guilt is really just a notification that your actions are out of alignment
Yeah.
with your values. So if you, again, I use this example all the time, but if you're a mom and you think that a good mom stays at home with her kids, and you have to or want to work, because there's people who want to work too, um that it's it's important to, if you can't change the behavior, which in this case you can't change the behavior, then you have to change the belief. So the belief is that I'm showing my children how to follow their passion, or I'm taking care of their other needs, or whatever it is. And that's why it's so individual. But it's just a notification. It's not something that we have to hold on to all the time. I came up with this notification concept when I was driving my fiance's car, and it was beeping at me because somebody pulled in front of me. And I was like, it's not my fault.
Of
They
course,
pulled in
right?
front, right? And he said it's not an accusation, it's just a notification. So if you think of it as a notification, then you can go into it with a place of curiosity. Like, okay, what is it? What's my rule? What am I telling myself that I'm doing wrong right now? Or that I should be doing that I'm not doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you can kind of do a little digging, then you can figure out where the guilt is. And if you can figure out where the guilt is, then we can let it go. We were never meant to carry around such a heavy emotion.
No, no, I get it. All right, so you're going to help us let it go. I can't believe it. Remind us how we can contact you and to reach out and start working with you for that
Yeah,
initial call, please.
absolutely. So if you go to momsupportcorner.com and you schedule a session with me for your peace assessment, you will be on my calendar and we will have a one-on-one conversation. You can also follow me on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, and at Mom Support Corner as well.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. Pleasure having you here from mom to mom. I appreciate and commend you on these women that you're helping. And I know it says you're a mom coach, but is there any dads out there that you've coached as well? Just curious.
I do get questions about dad guilt a lot. And for a long time, I was like, absolutely not. I'm a mom. I'm not helping dad. And that was because I was still a little irritated.
Yeah, yeah, no, of course. I get it.
But
I
I
get
did
it.
let that go. And so, if there's dads feeling guilt out there, then jump on a peace assessment and
Oh,
we'll see. And I have a network of coaches that if I'm not the right fit for you, I will find the right fit for you.
beautiful. And by the way, how old is your son now? Is his name Xander?
Xander, he's 12. Yeah.
Aw, and things are good with him.
He's so good. And he loves his video games. And
No,
but
mine too.
they just all do, right? And the other day I was you know how people like to attack people on social media. And so I had said something that people didn't like. And I was in and they were like, I'm fear for your son. Okay. And while I was typing a response to that, he came into the kitchen and gave me a hug, completely unprompted, stopped the video game, completely unprompted, come into the kitchen and gave me a hug and said, I love you. And I was like, oh yeah, you should be totally worried about him.
Right? Oh my God. People don't know. Everyone's going to have their opinion. You know your heart, your truth,
Exactly.
and the people you're helping. So thank
Yeah.
you so much again for being here. Alysia Lyons. Again, if you want to Google her, find her Alysia Lyons. And on social media, how do we find you?
At Mom Support Corner.
Perfect. Well, we appreciate your time here and hopefully we can meet again. Thank you so much.
Definitely. Thank you.
All right. Have a great day. And to all of
You
our
too.
listeners and viewers, stay tuned. More of the show is coming right up. Bye bye.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.